What's up, Flicking Fanatics? We are back. Nothing happened. There's nothing to see here. Let's talk about some House of the Dragon season finale and rest of the season minus an Allison. Here we go. Button. What's happening? What did happen? Who can say? Who can say?
What did I know exactly what happened. Allison happened. God damn it, Allison.
Now I am going to call her Allison. She'll love that.
Allison. She's the worst. Just like Allison. She's oh no. Come back in here and apologize to the people, whoever might show up for this. Or may not.
How appropriate that Allison is the only person in the chat right now. That's okay. Hopefully people will find us. But yeah, so we had some technical difficulties. We're trying to wrap up some conversation here, things to talk about. House of the Dragon. We haven't talked about dragons that much. And in this episode, I believe for the first time that I can remember, we meet Vermithor, which was King Jaehaerys's dragon, Viserys's daddy.
And while you're making this new stream, welcome back if you're watching this after the fact. I found this picture.
Look at that.
So we get quite a few bigger dragons. It actually doesn't have Vermithor on here.
No, Vermithor, I believe, is the third or fourth biggest dragon in the Westerosi history. With Balon being the biggest, the one that's got its head skull.
Yes, Balon was the biggest, Vhagar was the second biggest, and Vermithor was third. I know that from, I think, maybe New Rockstars. I heard it there. Shout out to them. Lots of good info.
Yeah. So, I can't. Yeah, that's right. It's just us now. There's no Allison there. Eventually, I'll click the right button, but it won't be today. You know who doesn't click the right button? Allison.
Allison definitely doesn't click the right button, but it's all good. I'm gonna retweet this out real quick.
Okay.
And just be like, whoopsie doo.
Questions that you asked Allison, I'll answer. So we'll do like favorite character, least favorite character, and maybe favorite moments. So Daemon is one of my favorite characters, but I do love Rhaenyra. But it does bring me back to my problem with the time jumps, because even though we had these characters that are transcending through the season, it's rough when we keep changing actors. And all the actors are doing phenomenal.
Yeah.
No weak performances, but I would like to get attached to an era. Oh, there's our faces. Hi. Hello.
Hey, it's just us. We can talk.
Yeah. So I mean, Rhaenyra's great. Otto sucks. He sure does suck. I was waiting for him to die this episode, but Larys, right, might be the worst.
Larys is definitely the worst. Otto is bad, but like in a very subtle, conniving way, backhandedly, right? Like you don't expect it coming.
You'll never see him coming.
Well, it's just funny because Otto implanted Rhaenyra as heir. That was his plan. Like, Viserys didn't know who to name as heir, right? When he lost his son in childbirth and his wife all at the same time. And that was Otto's plan, just to keep Daemon off the throne. And then come later to find out, they're both on the throne, kind of, in a way, Daemon and Rhaenyra are together. So it's interesting how his own, machinations backfired on him in that way.
I will drop that my favorite moment was Daemon taking out the Crab King. As much grief as that caused on the Stepstones, as much grief as that caused the crown and Viserys, Daemon went in there. Viserys is like, I'm going to send you help. And Daemon said, get bent, brother.
Yeah, get your help out of here.
Yeah.
And did it without a word, too. He didn't speak. He spoke like one word that whole episode and just killed it. It was fantastic.
I love... Daemon cracks me up. The way he's pacing back and forth when Otto won't stop mouthing off and keeps calling Rhaenyra a princess. You can tell he's like, I'm ready to behead somebody else. Let's get it.
He was ready to tear off. That was going to be hilarious. If I had to pick favorites, so for the first half of the season, they really did a great job at playing Alicent to be an empathetic character. This is all Otto's fault, right? Otto sent her to the king's chambers to comfort them, right? To comfort him. And she was only ever there because of that. Otherwise, she would have been like relatively content with just being Rhaenyra's best friend, and maybe something more. They kind of hinted at like there was like,
I mean, there was
mild,
something there.
As a teenage relationship goes, there might have been like there's love there. There was love there. Whatever it ended up being, who knows? But she had, and even still in this episode 9, like she's like the king's dead, and then her entire court, right? The whole council was just like, all right, cool, we can implement our plans. Let's get your son on board, give him the crown. And she's like, what is happening? This is not what I signed up for. And this was all Otto. This was all Otto conniving, doing all this stuff. And so they did such a fantastic job at least she never wanted to lose her station as queen, and she wasn't willing to sacrifice that, but she wanted to do everything else she could to try to get her friendship back, right? To try to be just enough.
We do have 2 Streamlabs.
Do we?
Yes. I don't think we got around to saying the last one from John Lustrina. Did we? The actual Fast and Furious one?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, here we go. John, I don't know if you're here, but if you have made it back, welcome back. And thank you so much for the support. I said, I anticipated some shock and surprise as to my previous Streamlabs, ... But this whole is all about family. Wait, family? You don't turn your back on family. Dominic Toretto, #family. Also, another $5 Streamlabs from
who's it from?
One Allison Salamoni, who simply says, oops.
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 And that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah. Oopsie.
You're only fired if you just stop doing your job so damn well. So, keep up the good work.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Just stop getting so button happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when the button says, are you sure? So you know what? No, I'm not sure.
If the button's red. I don't know. I thought something was going to come with that. Anyways, I really enjoyed the season. It's just, I hope we can slow down.
Yeah, I agree. The time jumps were something to get used to for sure. Because the first 5 episodes were with the same actors. Even though there was also time jumps, there was like 2 years, 3 years. All of a sudden, Allison's having her first baby and a second baby. I think by the time they jumped away,
that's the thing I want to talk about. Is there's a lot of elements. My problem with the time jumps is not just like, hey, there's new actors, but there's whole giant plot elements that are not being talked. Like, hint to that. Allison has another kid that has been born, gotten older, and been living in Old Town that hasn't been mentioned.
Right. I didn't know about that until last week, actually.
Yeah.
Because New Rockstars had mentioned that on one of their reviews, and I didn't know about that at all.
And then
they did zero mention of it.
I keep forgetting that already Rhaenyra and Daemon have 2 kids together.
Yes. Yeah, Viserys and Aegon.
Yeah. Because they're just not, it's all about the Harwin boys,
True.
Which there's 3 of. So the baby that she didn't get to have this episode was going to be 6. And Allison has Helena, Aegon, Aemon, Old Town Kid.
Old Town Kid, yeah.
Is there another one? Helena has twins.
Helena has kids, yes. Which they never mentioned. They just show them randomly sitting on the ground.
And I'm like, whose kids are these?
Yeah. And you're like, oh, you and Aegon have already had kids. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this has been the biggest case of Allison Salamoni I've had watching the show. Who's this person? But instead of this person, I'm like, whose kids are these?
Who are these blonde-headed kids? Oh, and Aegon has how many kids, though? Because we see when the Erics are hunting for him down at the child fighting
pits. Yeah,
exactly. And he just leaves his kids behind to fight. And they sharpen their nails and they file their teeth so they can fight. It's like, what? Shut this shit down.
Reminds me of this little kid on the show Barry, but you don't watch Barry, I don't think, right?
I don't watch Barry, no. And that's another one I want to watch. I want to get to that one for sure.
Barry's a lot of fun. All right. So is there other things that we should cover? We kind of did a whole talk about things we like.
I don't know where they're going to jump to because I'm trying to think back to.
Oh, everyone's going to die though. I can tell you that.
Well, I mean, everyone's going to die. We're all going to die. But I'm trying to think back to Game of. My only knowledge of the history is from Game of Thrones and whatever they might have said about the fall of the House of the Dragon, right? I know that there was a Targaryen as like the maester at the Wall, right? The blind guy.
Yeah, he is Aemon Targaryen. Yeah.
Okay, so he might have been, what was he, Aemon second of his name, third of his name then? Maybe a lineage down the line of this Aemon that we know and love, right? I don't think we're going to get much, like, just going forward. I don't think we're going to get much more of other houses. I think it'd be kind of interesting to, wonder if
the lines have to be drawn. I think everyone's going to go to the respective places to see what side they're on. We don't know the Starks. The Baratheons have chosen a side, clearly.
But have they? Because at the end of this, like, he straight up says, there will be no fighting in my house. And then Aemon goes off and kills the kid on his way home. And Daemon knows. Daemon has obviously told Rhaenyra, the rest of the kingdom is going to know. And this is going to put a lot of houses, I think, in favor of Rhaenyra. I think this will put a lot of people on the side of the Targaryens, not the Hightowers, not Aegon, not the king. Because being an Oathbreaker, being a Kingslayer, being a Kinslayer, right? Killing your own blood. Those are bad things. And I don't think Aemon is not going to come out of this looking. That's why he knew he fucked up. He's like, oh shit, I just started a war and people are going to hate me. And I think he knows that. So I think that's gonna draw a lot of forces to Rhaenyra when the time comes to fight, because they didn't start this, even though he actually kind of did, because Luke totally attacked Vhagar.
Don't kill our buzz, Eli. Don't kill it. Yeah, well, everyone tuned in for Obi-Wan. We knew how that was going to end up too.
Well, yeah, I think we know that Aegon the Sixth of his name will be king at the end.
John, I love having John here as our little pocket historian with all the facts.
Before Bran the Broken.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about the show.
The dance is this the dance? Is this the war?
The Dance of the Dragons.
Okay.
That's what they were trying to get to. They were in a big hurry to get to here.
Right.
So I'm hoping now we're just in the thick of it. And I think George R. R. Martin said that their plan is to tell this story through 4 seasons.
Okay. So, but that's my curiosity is if they're going to continue the time jumps and essentially catch us up to where we start Game of Thrones, or are they going to? Because they've already jumped, we were 170 years behind. We've already jumped 30 years, right? So we've caught up 15% of the time we need to get there, right? Or are they going to slow it down and just focus on this war, which is probably a good idea. It's a good way to especially spread out 5 seasons of television.
I think they wanted to get to Rhaenyra and Daemon and Dragonstone, and it's the battle for the legitimacy of the crown. Sure. This is a Game of Thrones again. And ironically, it's over illegitimate children again.
Yeah.
We had, the bastard of the Lannisters, and now the Harwin strong babies fighting for and ironically, we're on the other side now. We're rooting for Rhaenyra, who has the bastard children technically out of wedlock.
Sure. But she also has the claim to the throne out of given right. But to jump over to Game of Thrones, the bastard, I can't remember his name, but he was the blacksmith. He actually never ended up mattering, right? By the end of it, he didn't do it.
It's not Joffrey. It's
Jaluk. I don't know.
Jaluk.
Jeff. No,
Jaluk.
I don't remember his name. But he ended up never really mattering. Like, he was a warrior in a battle, but he didn't
fought some people.
Yeah, his claim to the throne as a Baratheon never mattered much, I believe. I was going somewhere else.
John does say in this story there shouldn't be any additional time jumps. Well, that would be nice.
Yeah. Isn't the Blackfire Rebellion? That's when Robert and Eddard kind of that's where Baratheon gets presented as king, right?
Does Elrond return as Ned Stark?
That'd be cool. You should totally do it. He was so great in Rings of Power. Is it focused on the Targaryens? Where's Game of Thrones? Exactly, and that's what I was saying earlier, actually, on our other stream. If you haven't seen that stream, go over there and like that video, please, because this is part 2. I like getting more character beats without jumping storylines too much, so we really focus and dive in and actually learn the intricacies. I can't say words. The intricacies of the characters and where they're from and what they really want. I really enjoyed that. What I was going to say was there was a lot more talk of the Song of Ice and Fire than I thought there would be.
Yes.
Because I thought this was just
promised.
The princess was promised, right? Okay, cool. We know where that ends, kind of, right? Even though there's talk about a Jon Snow spin-off sequel series down the way, right? So maybe we don't know where it ends. Maybe they're going to continue that storyline. But if they aren't going to give us more information about it, I didn't know why they were bringing it up so much. So I think that's going to be a big story point going forward.
Or it'll be Jon didn't inherit the Targaryen hair despite his father being the Targaryen.
Right.
So yeah, they really don't know their genetics, do they?
No, of course not. Yeah. Or the Stark genes are just really strong.
Yeah.
Right. He was Ned's nephew.
It's just, I mean, looking at between the Harwin kids and looking at Jon, it's just a real stark contrast. That was funny. God damn it. Can we end the show now?
I was reading something. I heard you say start contracts. It was funny. Robert Rebellions. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't, then I'm mixing up. Yeah. The Blackfire Rebellion. I thought that was the same thing. One and the same. I'm wrong. I don't know where Blackfire is.
The Rebellion. So, anyways, season as a whole, what would you give it out of 10? I'm feeling 8.8. I like it a lot. The highs were very high. There weren't any lows. There was just frustrations I had a couple times throughout the show.
See, I like this more. I'd say 9 out of 10. Like, honestly.
I mean, that's only 0.2 points above me, so that's not
crazy. And I hate when people give points. Just give it 88 out of 100. Just do that.
Okay,
why are you gonna say 7.32 out of 10?
7.5. I'll give it a B plus. There you go. Is that good enough for you?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
75 out of no. It's it really is a 9 out of 10. It wasn't perfect. There was definitely some frustrating parts. I didn't have that one episode when we first seen Rhaenyra and Daemon hook up. Everyone's bitching about the lighting again. I don't know what you guys are watching on. I had no problem with it. Y'all need to correct your TV settings.
I was watching on the TV.
Yeah, fix your TV settings. So if you're having issues with it, look inward. I had no problems with it. I'm pretty sure I did a whole episode reaction. It looked great. At least on my computer screen, it looked great. On my TV, it looked great. So, but there was stuff where I wanted to see more of. But that was one of the great things about Game of Thrones, and I feel like maybe we didn't get enough of. Everything that happened was pretty telegraphed in stereotypical storytelling, right? And I knew nothing about the books. I didn't know where this was going to go. But I feel like Game of Thrones did a better job at just going, la-di-da, I'm on this story beat, and here's where my trajectory is. Boom, that person's dead. I'm like, whoa. You know, it had more whoa moments, like, oh, that person. And this one did have a couple. Like, I didn't see the Strongs dying.
But we get naturally to have less of those because we have a narrower focus of characters.
Sure.
So we have to, like, you only have so many to play with.
Yeah, that could be true.
But Dan, did I feel the loss of Luke?
At the very end there, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely surprised me. Definitely.
I'll say this: Rhaenyra's, speaking of trajectory, Rhaenyra's trajectory went from calm, methodical, great leader, and I think she's going to skip up to Dany season 8 here in about 2 seconds.
You think she's gone crazy?
Not crazy, but I think people are going to feel the wrath of a Targaryen.
Sure.
I think it's going to be calculated, but I think she was showing reservation. and I think they killed the reservation inside her. That's too much loss for one person to experience.
I can agree with that.
Backstabbing and betrayal. Her childhood friend stabbed her in the back. Her nephew killed her son. She lost her baby. She lost her dad. It's in very short span of time.
Her brother killed her son.
What? Wait. No. Yes. Sort of. Wait.
Her half brother.
Yeah, because they're both from
Viserys.
That age gap really throws me off.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Okay. True.
Yeah, no, I can get with that. No, I mean, all in all, I love this. Is my favorite season. My favorite of like the most recent shows, stuff that has been on. Rings of Power was great. She-Hulk was great in such a different flavor. You know, it's very different. Andor is continuing to be good week in, week out. I think Andor is going to sit even better on a rewatch where you can really chunk through each of the 4 story trajectories they're doing. So we won't know until the very end. And overall, I really loved it. I hate that they haven't even started filming season 2. We have so long to wait.
At least, I keep saying I hate waiting for this, but at least we know there's a season 2 of House of the Dragon. We know there's a season 2 of Rings of Power. If Netflix doesn't get their shit together, I'm going to visit somebody's office. You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, Sandman.
And before you go, while you're still here, please refresh the page and go watch reaction videos, because for some reason, like, this one's just doing terribly in the algorithm. So please help us out. Watch our reaction videos of everything. We did an Ant-Man trailer reaction, which looked super fun. Ant-Man, the entire world. I love that trailer from earlier today. And I did a reaction video for episode 10. So give that a watch and a like and a comment. And we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep it real, and we'll catch you on the next video. And this time I know exactly where the video is, so that's awesome. Bye.